Today, we're reviewing the Inkbird Smart Thermometer. My name's Angela with KamadoCook.com. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. If you've been here before, sorry I'm not better looking. Today, we are going to review the Inkbird 4-probe wireless meat thermometer, and then I'm going to compare it head-to-head with the meter. So you know I use this all the time. You see it in almost every single cook. I won this in a Facebook giveaway. Shout out to the Texas Brew and Q Facebook group. I won this. It was just a straight up raffle, and I was lucky enough to get it. So I've been using this for a few weeks, and I'm going to review what works, what doesn't work, what I like, what I don't like, and we're going to do a head-to-head versus style comparison to the meter probe for a chicken cook. And that'll give us a really good indication of, if one is more accurate than the other, is one easier to use than the other, the pros, the cons, and we can really help out. These are two different price points and two completely different feature sets. So let's jump right in. So this is the Smart Wireless Barbecue Thermometer by Inkbird, and the model is IBT-4XC. So as you know, I'm always a big meter fan. I'm always pushing the meter, and I think it's a great meat probe, and that's because it is 100% wireless, and I do a lot of rotisserie cooks and things like that. I won this in a contest, so this is not sponsored. They didn't send it to me for a review. I literally won this in a raffle-esque contest. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to review it. So we'll do a quick unboxing, and we're cooking chicken today, so I'm going to review it while cooking the chicken, and I'm going to go ahead and use the meter probe as well. So we'll do a a side-by-side comparison and see how this stacks up. So right out of the box, we have the warranty and the instruction manual. Then we have the unit, the main unit here. And underneath, I'm assuming, yes, we will have all of our probes, including the charger and the clips for the grill grate. So this is where we can get our ambient temperature on the grill. And then the other probes will go directly into the meat, however many you're cooking. So, it's not the heaviest thing in the world, but it doesn't need to be. There is a battery in here, which is very nice. So I don't have to worry about an outlet when we're cooking. And these cords seem like a decent length. Let's check these tips. Yeah, so we're good. This isn't too thick. If you remember, one of my negatives on the meter is how thick it is. So these are pretty standard probes. Nice width, nice and sharp, good length. So
I don't know if you can hear that beautiful
we'll get the app installed,
cooking sound
and we'll
coming
get
from
our
these
chicken,
potatoes and onions.
and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison between the meter and this Inkbird to see, are they reading the same? What does it look like? How far is the distance? So this is Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi, and distance and connectivity is always the biggest thing. So we will compare it directly with the meter and see which one loses connectivity, which one doesn't, and what that range looks like.
So we're just gonna grab this,
put it right here inside, and then I'm gonna put my meter probe in this breast. Come on, get in there. There we go. And then we also have the Inkbird. So I'm doing a side-by-side comparison. It'll be a separate video for the review, but we're gonna put our Inkbird in here as well and see if we get similar readings and see how they stack up. I wanted to check on this because the two probes are giving me entirely different temperatures. The Inkbird is saying we're at 124 degrees internal, and then our meter probe is saying we're about 60. So we're going to use our instant read, our Javelin Pro, which is very accurate. We're seeing 68. Okay, so this is reading the same on both sides. So I may have put that in too far, or something's going on with this, because this is reading 126 degrees internal right now, and that's not even close. So we'll go ahead and, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull it out a little bit, because maybe, just maybe, it's in too far, but that just seems like such an unreasonable reading. But we'll go ahead, we're going to continue this, and we'll continue to compare the two of these to each other and see what happens. I just came into my office to get my high heat gloves. This is probably about 100 feet or so away from the grill, depending on how you walk it. And I do live in a brick house. I got this alert saying the meter has lost connection. if we open up the Inkbird, I still have connection. So, you know, as far as range is concerned, this seems to be pretty solid. But we'll go ahead, we'll continue. I'll do even farther walks and move around and see what, you know, eventually... Oh, we just lost connection here. So it's about the same, I would assume, and we're right back on. So what this tells me is that I am right at the edge of the connection for the Inkbird, but I lost it with the meter. I got to call that a tie because this is going in and out, and I stopped moving the second I got the meter alert to record this. So distance is about a tie, and we'll just continue to check the temperature on both and use that instant read as a tiebreaker if they disagree. So we're at the grill with our chicken cook. The Inkbird temps, last time we spoke, were way off from the meter temp. So what I did was I pulled it out a little bit, and I have no idea if that was even the issue, but I pulled it out a little bit. We checked with that instant read, and the instant read said that the meter was accurate and the Inkbird was wrong. Since then, they've started to stabilize a little bit, where the meter is reading 80 degrees internally, and the Inkbird is reading 108. That's still a big gap. A 20-degree gap is still a big gap, but it is tightening. So we're just going to keep letting it go and see what happens. Ultimately, if they both get to 165 at the same time, then, you know, maybe it was user error, or at least, you know, it gets to the right place at the right time. But we're going to continue to monitor it and see what happens. What I will tell you is I really want this Inkbird to be good. The device itself is awesome. It has 4 probes. The range, as you saw, was good. So with my screen record there, when the meter lost range and then the Inkbird lost range, I didn't see that as a, oh, this range is terrible. That's pretty far. It's in my office. You can see my house is brick. That's pretty far away. So I wasn't upset at that, you know, that range loss. The device itself is okay. It's not like 20 pounds or anything, but it's solid enough. And it has some nice grips. It has a charging port, and it has a battery inside, and that's what I really like about this. So it is not truly wireless, because you see we have the wires going into the grill, so I could never use this for my rotisserie. But I do love the ambient temperature, because knowing exactly what the temperature is inside the grill is very important. And obviously we can go off the dome temp, but the dome and the grates are pretty far apart, and those two temperatures are different. So I do love that. I really want this to work. We are not done with this cook yet, so I don't know how I feel yet. So we'll find out in another, I think it's saying about 30 minutes or so when this chicken's gonna be done, and that's when we'll find out, and you know, we'll see if it's worth it. So stay tuned, and then we'll see where we end up. The Inkbird just alerted me saying that the internal was 165. So already it doesn't give you a rest time, meaning the meter does the calculation to say it's been taking this long to go up a degree, so you need to remove it from, you know, the grill at this temperature, because we know the residual cooking will get you to the desired temperature. The Inkbird just says it's where you want it to be. So in this case, we said 165. Our meter is saying it's not 165. So we're going to use our tiebreaker to see if this is done or not. So it's 165, exactly where the Inkbird thermometer is. So that tells me that that is correct. Let's check some other parts of the chicken. 180 in the thigh. And we're actually only 155 in the other breast. So it's actually cooking unevenly, which tells me that they're both accurate. The meter is accurate because it's reading less, and the Inkbird is accurate. So when we checked before, both the breasts were the exact same temperature. For whatever reason, whatever's happened, one breast is cooking faster than the other. Maybe it's thinner. I don't know. We're going to let it go another minute because it has to be 165 everywhere. So all in all, it's a nice little thermometer. I mean, we're talking about $50 for 4 probes, and one of them is a ambient temperature probe. That's a good deal. The meter's $100 for 1 probe, and the ambient temperature is very helpful. It's not the gospel, but it's very helpful, right? I wouldn't rely entirely on it, but it's very important to know. Here's a couple of cons. That $50, there are some strings attached. One, a literal string, right? There's an actual wire going from the base unit to the probe itself. Most of the time, that's not an issue, but I do use rotisserie, so for me, that would be an issue for those cooks specifically. The other thing is, while the app is very simple, There are no custom notifications, not that I could find. I couldn't set a notification. I couldn't say if the ambient temperature becomes X, then send me an alert. I use my meter probe for that a lot. So that's a little disappointing, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'll poke around in the app and see if I could find it somewhere else, and I'll update this. I'll put it in the comments or put a tag. But you know, without that and without the estimated cook time, I would say that's the $50 difference, right? So for $50 more and 3 fewer probes, you have better app functionality and a smarter thermometer. So I would call this a wireless thermometer, and that's exactly what it is, and it's doing it, and it's doing it pretty well. What it is not is a smart thermometer, and that's what the meter is. The meter is doing, you know, complicated calculations to tell you when your food is going to be ready, how much longer, you know, is your cook going to last, how long to rest it, and things like that. This is just saying that's the temperature you wanted, and you're at that temperature, so you can remove it. So this is a great buy for 50 bucks. 4 probes, 1 is ambient temperature, and it's a nice little unit with the battery backup. The signal is very solid. So yes, I recommend it. If you have the extra 50 bucks to spend and you really only need the 1 probe, I would go the meter because of the extra features inside of the app. With that being said, it's pretty easy to fix an app. So I can't imagine that Inkbird won't eventually add some of these features. But for right now, today, in January 2020, the Inkbird is a nice purchase at 50 bucks. It doesn't have every single feature that you might want, but it definitely gets the job done as far as telling you the temperature of your grill and telling you the temperature of the meat.
Okay, with yesterday's temperature variations, what I wanted to do was the boiling water test. So water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is the easiest way to know if your probes or temperature gauges are accurate. You see they're both reading, I have 2. They're both reading pretty much the same, 170, 173, 177, because that's a little over the water here. So let's put these in and see where we end up. A second. Okay, they're both reading exactly 212 degrees. So those are accurate. That's dead accurate. And we can say definitively that it is accurate. Let's do our instant read. All right, pretty much 212, 211.8. So this is accurate as well. So I think we can conclusively say that this Inkbird is accurate. And for 50 bucks, 4 probes, and the ambient temperature sensor, it's a good deal. Like I said, it's not a smart device, meaning the app has very limited features, but it does give you an accurate reading in temperature. It's pretty fast. And one thing that is cool is this is magnetic. So you can see it's clicking there. So this is magnetic surface, which is nice. You can slap it on the side of, you know, I have a Kamado, so it's ceramic, but if you're using something else, you know, you can put it on there. So we've confirmed this is accurate, and at the end of the day, 4 probes for 50 bucks is a good deal. If you want the truly wireless and you want, you know, some of those better app features like custom notifications and estimated cook time and stuff, then, you know, upgrade to a meter probe. But in the meantime, I appreciate the view. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer below. And if you go to KamadoCook.com, we have live chat, and you know, feel free to hit us up and we'll get back to you.